One of the worst things that you can do in Jiu-Jitsu is to make it so nobody wants to train with you. Using dangerous techniques, refusing to let your partner work, and spreading skin infections are all things that happen constantly in gyms that no one wants to be around. Just the other day at an open mat, I was rolling with a guy who wanted to do a Kani Basami, and he was 210 pounds. I had flashbacks and immediately stopped him, but it changed my tune and exactly how I was going to train with them and how hard the roll would go. And I don't want any of my viewers to be like that, so let's prevent you from being a total spaz and understanding mat safety. But first, a word from today's sponsor, Transparent Labs. Transparent Labs is a supplement company providing you with the best products possible with no fillers. Let's face it, Jiu-Jitsu requires a ton of energy to do, especially if you need to defend yourself from spazzes. This is why I take their protein, so my muscles are always recovering and getting bigger every time I train, and I love to take their hydration, so I know I'm never going to be too tired to put the whooping on these guys. But the best part is, if you go to transparentlabs.com and use promo code Tyler, you can pick up your favorite products, whatever matches your lifestyle, and you can save money at the same time. It's helping so many athletes that I just can't recommend this product enough. I really think you guys should check it out. Now let's get back to it and realize quickly that nobody wants to go home with broken bones or torn ligaments. I know we do some cool moves in Jiu-Jitsu, and you see competitors go absolutely wild with the techniques, but a huge part of training is that we want to be able to do it again tomorrow. Or at least I do. That means we need to limit our techniques to doing only safe movements. Suplexes, out. Flying arm bars, also gone. Ripping submissions, prohibited. If you're wondering what makes something dangerous and something safe, it comes down to one variable: control. If I guillotine somebody, it's very likely I have control. I have their neck, control my hips, as well as theirs, and the concept is to stop their movement altogether. On the flip side, a flying armbar, or anything flying for that matter, is high intensity and quick action. The more moving parts it has, the easier it is for one part to go wrong and now someone is going to the hospital. But don't get me wrong, this applies to moves on the ground as well. I've personally seen people get black eyes, cuts on their head because somebody was hitting a knee cut and they didn't control the technique properly. If you're actually good at a technique in Jiu-Jitsu, you should be able to control the technique as well, not just have to slam it on your training partners so you know you're going to get the better of them. Just to make it really simple for everybody, moves that are typically falling body weight are really hard to control, where moves on the ground where you can apply slowly are easy to control. The more control you have, the more people are going to want to train with you. Or you can be like this guy and just double down on it when I post it on Instagram. But maybe you already do control yourself, however you're still stuck in the corner all by your lonesome. Maybe it's because you're a bad drilling partner. Have you ever drilled moves and it feels harder than rolling because they just will not cooperate? Or it's the complete opposite, where it's so easy that it feels like you're practicing with a child? Both are signs of a bad drilling partner. This one is a little finicky because it's a thin line between knowing how hard you should go for repping and how light you should go for repping. We hopefully go to the gym we can rep with our favorite training partner, but we've all been in that situation where he's not there and now you have to go with somebody new. I've been in Jiu-Jitsu at least 15 years, so trust me, I've been in plenty of awkward situations. The best thing you can do if you're with somebody new is to not be a limp noodle. Let them do the technique, but don't turn it into a complete brawl just to make sure they can do a Kimura. And when you're trying to be a good partner and letting them do the moves, also make sure you're not a spaz. Let's not forget where we started. We were all spazzes at one time when we were brand new to the sport. This is a rite of passage in the sport. You don't know what to do while some Goliath is on top of you trying to choke you. You naturally want to defend yourself, but you don't know how because you don't have enough technique. So what do? You spaz out. In fact, if you've watched this channel for a while, I had a whole character built around being a little spazzy known as Bath Salt's Ben. Elbowing you in the ribs, kicking you in the face, somehow walking out of practice looking like you just did Muay Thai instead of Jiu-Jitsu. It's all related to being a spaz. Don't worry, I'm not innocent. When I was a white belt, I remember thinking to myself, the Gogo Plata was going to be my main move. It's hard to do, not really common, and you have to get your shin underneath their throat just to pull down the choke. But it ended up that I was just kicking them in the head most of the time while continuously pulling the head down, hoping it was going to go, and I'm like pulling them into my foot and just making them have a hell of a bad time while not even getting close to a tap. After getting a few people bloody noses, I learned my lesson and stopped doing that. So you have to understand that even as a black belt, when I started, I was just as spazzy as some of you are. Luckily, this is pretty easy to stop. Spazzing happens because you don't have control over your body like we talked about earlier, but you also don't have enough technique to know what to do. As you gain more technique knowledge, learn their positions, and have more control over your own body, you'll stop flinging limbs where they don't belong. My biggest tip to stop this is just to slow down. You're not winning any belts in the gym, so there's no need to turn this into a sprint. Unless your name is Joe and you're a purple belt. That dude is always kneeing and elbowing me. Fuck you, Joe. But at least Joe isn't an ultra competitor. An ultra competitor is someone who keeps score of every single interaction in the gym, has a chalkboard at home of everyone he has and hasn't tapped yet, and has a running tally of all of their victories. Don't get me wrong, I like competition. It's fun going with other black belts or students and bantering with them and trying to get the better of each other. But if you're the type of guy that says, "That's two," every single time you get a sweep, please stop. The reason people don't really like this character is because we all have different lives. Some of us do Jitsu after 8 hours of work as a way to enjoy a workout. Some of us are injured and will tap really quickly, and some are trying to make Jitsu content while selling guillotine instructionals. I have no idea who that could be. Either way, the ultra competitor brings a strange vibe to ordinary classes. While it's welcome in competition classes, it doesn't fit really well into open mat or other areas. Everything becomes tit for tat, the intensity in the room continues to amp up, and this is where injuries are bound to happen. As much as I record rolls and I use them for content, I understand that wins in the gym mean absolutely nothing compared to competition. So please put your ego aside when you're having a friendly roll, and more people are going to want to train with you. Now there are tons of different personalities and other reasons why people might not want to train with you, but there's one that I can't leave off the list that completely grinds my gears. And it's the people that always have excuses. When I say excuses, I want you to picture that guy that you make eye contact with and they purposely look the other way because they don't want to roll with you. Their excuses can be completely endless and make no sense. Like the sun is in their eyes, they ate too much food, they don't like how your rash guard looks. There are so many reasons why people make excuses just to not roll or train. This usually comes down because they have an ego problem in the gym. I get it, losing completely sucks, so that guy might not want to roll with you, but you will find that same character rolling with all the women despite having like a 40-pound advantage and then ducking all the men. The only way you're going to get better is by having tough rounds, so don't be that dude that makes up any excuse he can not to get guillotined by me. So let's be honest with ourselves here, how many categories did you fall into? There may be even more reasons why that I didn't list and that people want to train with you, like you maybe share your political beliefs on the mat, you constantly talk about crypto, or you just stink. But overall, it's pretty easy to be a good training partner. Train respectfully and with mat safety, and you won't end up like this guy.